Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about user experiences. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, should all the software engineering companies adopt a culture where the customer is never blamed even if their questions sound stupid, but rather find a way to mitigate it by improving the user experience? Well, that's already happening, but the sad fact is that some people are too stupid to be helped. And I know that sounds horrible, but it is. If you let me just hear me out before you go all woke on me, guys. If you pull in a person, if you could time travel and you pull in a person from the first century, like just a few hundred years ago, and you put them in front of Facebook, there is no design team, software team, or user experience researcher on this planet that can fix that problem, because the person is too behind the times to understand what's going on. Now, practically every software company is trying to create some type of user experience. Not always, but that brings us to a interesting other topic, which is basically the whole idea behind capitalism, where if you don't provide incentive for people who make a profit from something to be better, they're not gonna give a fuck about their customers. I assume that quite a lot of people can relate to that. They have certain companies or certain products, or just take a look at the people who work into like the support roles within different companies and the digital systems that they have to work with. How often they get updated user interfaces for like these internal company systems and stuff like that. It basically never happens because the company doesn't prioritize their user experience. And so it's always this weird balancing game between what is reasonable to expect from a user and what is simply too costly to bridge in refining the user experience. And another example is, and you don't have to go back in time, we can go with present day users. There are senior citizens as an example. Not all, but the vast majority of senior citizens fall into the category of special needs when it comes to software products, where it doesn't even have to be that all. Like my girlfriend's parents are not able to do the most basic things that a 2-year-old with today's standards can do. A 2-year-old, I was amazed. I almost fell out of my chair when I saw my friend's 2-year-old maneuver and select videos that he liked on YouTube. This is beyond these people. This is beyond what they can do by themselves. We had to train them to learn how to use something a 2-year-old by today's standards can use. So I think that this is always going to be an issue. It's a mutual type of thing basically, and I think, or I hope we can agree on that, where the battle is always between how much personal responsibility does the user has, like what is feasible to assume that the person knows. Because this idea that all products are supposed to be easy to use for everybody and everybody should be able to, like, nothing works that way, guys. Not a single thing. There was once upon a time I was 16, it was very embarrassing because the girl who was working at the pumping station for like the gasoline station in my town, she was very pretty and I had a little crush on her, and I didn't know how to pump my own gas when I was 16, and I got here inside. You probably don't know that, but in my part of the world, owning a moped was the thing. It's not owning a car was cool and all, but that came later. But here, it's owning a moped. That was the whole thing, right? So that was pretty cool in my day, and so simply did not know. This thing is being used, this product or this service is provided to millions and millions of people around the entire globe, and I could not figure it out as a 16-year-old. I asked her for help. She was very lovely. She taught me, and after I swallowed my pride and just asked for help, everything was fine. I was introduced, and now I understood how it worked. Same thing with my girlfriend's parents. They were taught, and now they can use it. Because the unfortunate situation is, as I said, in some cases, there is no way to just intuitively understand how something works, because you have to have prior knowledge. As with my time traveler, there's a mountain of things that this person would have to understand before they could even understand what a computer was. And some people who don't keep up with the times are unfortunately left in a situation where some digital services are not possible to comprehend without commitment and training. But then again, there was a time when the television was a new and hip thing, and you sort of had to learn how to use it. Most new innovations and technologies and progress and so forth requires a certain level of keeping up with the times, and I think that's where we have to find an equilibrium, and I think that has to always happen on a case-by-case basis, because whenever a new digital product or a law or like politics, it doesn't really matter what it is, when something new comes along, we will have to do our best to make sure that everybody who wants to benefit from that thing has an easy time doing so, but at the same time we can't make it the creator's responsibility to create something that allows us to be so uninformed or so lazy that we never have to make a personal effort. I think that that's a pretty good trade. So what I want you to take away from this is that practically every software company, apart from the ones, as I said, who have no incentive whatsoever to make their products better in some fashion, and these are usually the same companies, so that's not exclusive to the IT at all. It's the same thing with politics or any company you can possibly imagine. There's a few of those around who they couldn't give they don't give two fucks about their customers, because they have them in a position where they don't have to care practically, and so they don't. And apart from those, usually people have some idea of creating a better user experience or trying to improve things and so forth, but as I said, there's a limit to that, because some knowledge is necessary, because we can't create a system where we basically take on the responsibility of bridging ignorance in a person to the point where they never have to learn anything. That balance has to be met somewhere. We have to draw the line somewhere, and it's usually very organic, I would say, because if you create a digital product that nobody knows how to use, or like it's not really going over so well, that's the power and the benefit of the free market, then they're just going to go to somebody else, so you have incentive to improve it in some fashion. That's usually, I'm not going to say that capitalism solves all our problems, far from it, but I'm saying that when it comes to this area, we have a pretty good system to deal with this problem, I think. Have a great day.